Growing up, how we grew up, the Hill, Jersey City, born in the 80s during a heavy drug era, living in the midst of drug abuse, parent incarceration, violence, and even sexual trauma. We decided to use our God-given abilities to assist others in healing by telling their stories to the world. For us, as kids, it was music and visual arts that helped serve as a form of therapy. Now, we're on a mission as we feel a spiritual obligation to those battling trauma, to help them use their stories as inspiration to others. From the Hill to healing.
Hi, I'm Jahid Nicholson, and this is my journey from the Hill to healing.
All right, we're gonna get right into it, my brother Healy, man. I'm just happy that you were willing to do this. It's courageous because not everyone is willing to let people into them candidly.
Yeah, man.
I just want you to first talk about, I know this is about specifically about your journey dealing with sickle cell. Um, I just want you to talk about and mention to the people why it was important for you to discuss you dealing with this disease.
Why I feel like people need to know about the disease itself, and how to deal with it, is because nowadays, these days, you have sickle cell becoming a widely known disease up there, along with AIDS and cancer. And I feel like there are a lot of people out here, believe it or not, that are uneducated about it, and it's been around just as long as widely known diseases.
How has the physical element of being sick, how has it affected you mentally?
I mean, honestly, like growing up, I had to learn how to build my will. It's made me strong-willed, very strong-willed. Cause you know what I mean. People know how to deal with emotional pain, but when you gotta deal with physical pain, and that physical pain gives you emotional pain, it turns into something very different. You know what I mean? Cause emotional pain that can go anywhere. That's what messes up your brain. That's what gets you all hot and bothered, and that in turn causes the physical pain. So it's like a cycle. And if you don't learn how to deal with one, you can't deal with the other.
Can you remember any specific moments when you were young that any turning point where you said, "Wow, I'm really sick all the time. Um, this is what I have to do to kind of like cope with this."
Yeah, I mean, like early. See, with me, it was in and out of hospital early stages. Like that. That was one thing that I knew from a baby. You know what I mean? It was in and out of the hospital as a child from 3 to 6, from 6 to 10. And after my mom's passed at 10, after that it's like I had to learn how to cope with pain, like physical pain, because I don't have mommy there to rub my back. I don't have mommy there to console me and tell me everything gonna be okay. You know, and I mean, yeah, they do take a toll on you. And I truly believe, like, no child, honestly, like, no child should be caught in those little bar things that they have in hospitals. Those are like child prisons to me. Like, I know kids have to be in them for safety, but yeah, those that takes a toll on you also.
Yeah, my daughter was. I have a picture of her like that. You just said something that I had a question. It was the last question, but I'm gonna jump into it now.
I know.
Because I always wondered this, even though we never talked about it. How did the death of your mother impact you, and who helped fill that void when she passed to kind of be that next person? I know it's never the same.
Of course, yeah.
Who helped you fill that void?
I mean, that right there, I can honestly say that's one thing I'm kind of blessed about, having a big family, because like it's 12 of us. So I'm the youngest boy out of 5 boys, and it's 7 girls. So I did have older sisters before me. The only difference was, me as a boy being the only male with sickle cell, I had to learn how to cope with male pain on my own. I had 2 older sisters that have it, and they learned how to deal with, just the regular pain of dealing with sickle cell. So, my sister's Yahira and my sister Joette. God bless the dead, but they taught me how to cope with it, you know, and then they provided the love I needed.
Gotcha. Wow, this is deep stuff, man. Um, just a little bit. Just talk about for people that don't know. Talk about a little bit of the symptoms and the things that you go through with dealing with the disease.
I mean, quick overall history of it. First of all, we have to let people know that it's hereditary. No, you cannot catch it. It's hereditary. So if you weren't born with it, you're not gonna have it later on in life, unless you don't know that you were born with it. In which you go to the doctor and they let you know about it. You can get tested for it to see if it's part of your blood. However, you know what I mean? It's a hereditary disease. It comes straight from mother, father, or both parents. The breakdown is, my mother and my father both had sickle cell trait, which led to, one out of four children will end up with sickle cell if you have both parents that have sickle cell trait. Then you can have a parent that has no trait or no sickle cell. Then have a parent who's full blown sickle cell, and that in turn can create a child with sickle cell trait or a child with full blown sickle cell. Or if you have strong father genes, you can have a child that has no sickle cell. For instance, my oldest sister that has it, Joette, she had four boys, and none of them have sickle cell. But she has full blown sickle cell, had full blown sickle cell.
I'm learning. I'm learning. This is another question that I just from a different angle. Have you ever felt, being that deal with the sickness, like it's something that's like personal? Have you ever felt alienated by people close to you, family, friends, or on the flip side of that, have you ever felt as though maybe you isolate yourself because you know you have to deal with this on your own, and people have such busy lives and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, plenty of times. And you actually go through that through main parts of your teenage years. You know what I mean? Like for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like when we were young, with friends and stuff like that, it was hard because I had to look after myself to be like, okay, I know that there are some things I can't do with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I can play football for a while, but I can't play football all day like I want to. And sometimes it's hard to sit there and just constantly talk about that. And then you get into the aspect of people feeling like, all right, once you start letting people know that, then it's like you get everybody over worried. Like it gets down to everyone treating you as if you're like 2 years old. And you don't want that all the time. You know what I mean? I want to be able to be outside playing with my jacket off and football in the street without somebody saying, "Oh, yo, you should put your jacket on. We don't want you to get sick." That's me. Like if I'm choosing to do that, let me have fun right now. And that's what growing up. A lot of parents don't know that about their children. Like there are a lot of teenagers now that have sickle cell that really don't even know that they have sickle cell until they go to the doctor and the doctor tells them because their parents never think to test them out, you know. But like I said, even in school, in high school, it was the same way. You know what I mean? Like teachers were the same way. Oh, you tired? You don't have to do this work. You don't have to do that work. I'm here. I want to get it done. You know what I mean? My brain still works.
Yo, ironically, man, just knows how ignorant you are. I joke around a lot, but I take life seriously.
Yeah, man.
Seriously. Going back to when we were kids, I had no idea. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Or you going, I had no idea.
Nobody knew, and I didn't talk about it. I didn't tell nobody,
Football,
and I just disappeared.
I'm like, yo,
just disappeared like
this
this. I just disappeared.
This is why people have to be educated, and I got to educate my kids on this.
Exactly.
What do you do? I'm not going to say whether it's religious, spiritual. What do you do to keep yourself grounded, positive, and optimistic with this constant battle?
Well, I've recently started meditation. Like for a while now, I've been doing about like a year and some change, and I've noticed a difference, you know, in dealing with the pain because like the meditation helps you relax. And the first thing you want to do when you go into a sickle cell crisis is not panic, because the pain onsets like as if you catching on fire. You know what I mean? When the pain onsets, it onsets quickly, and it's like when you're on a roller coaster and you start to feel that drive up. It builds your adrenaline. Then you hit that, and that pain is like you know what I mean. Then you're just sitting there like, ow. Like, but the more you overact your nerves. That's one thing I've been studying. Like a lot of things is we as a people, you know what I mean, don't realize how much brain power we have. And like they say, your brain controls your whole nervous system. So if pain is your body's reaction to telling you that something's wrong, and that hits a receptor in your brain, only thing you got to do is know how to control that receptor. You cool that receptor down, you can cool down the pain that you're having.
So meditation is important, man.
Oh yeah.
Understand that. And I'm gonna give you this opportunity to just talk about, because I still got this on my YouTube page. The thing, you know that? You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about the artistic outlets you have, and how does that help you, just in life in general, keeping yourself balanced?
A way of expression, man. Like
What do you do? Just talk about
everyone,
it. What do you do?
everybody needs their forms of expression, whether it be art, dance, theater. You know what I mean? I've learned to explore all those different types of things. You know what I'm saying? But me, I've always been like wordy, so I do the poetry and I do like rhymes and stuff like that. As of lately, you know what I'm saying? Is I've been trying to work on a project of trying to tap into that pain. You know what I'm saying? Because I I'm trying to do a pain saga in which like I look at pain as that older brother that messes with you your entire life, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just roll with it because he gonna pick on you because he's bigger, he's better, no matter what fight y'all get into. You know what I mean? And I wanted to write a saga based on that because I see there are a lot of like nowadays there are a lot of writers and artists who have sickle cell who are rapping about that sickle cell pain. You know what I mean? And when I hear those artists, that gets me. You know what I mean? Because it's like I can feel that story. Like everybody can listen to an artist and be like, yeah, I feel that story. I can relate to that. When I hear these artists do this, it's like, okay, now you know what I mean. I feel that struggle too, because I felt that way my life. You know what I'm saying? And now you got people that's doing it, and to see it being done now is it has come a long way from like harsh times, because I've lost a lot of friends that have sickle cell.
Do you have like a group or an ally of people? Do you go to like any, where you can meet people that are going through the same thing?
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, like I said, now with social media, they have so many different groups where people come together, and we all talk about everything from being the major issues of sickle cell, from doctors to like you say, how to cope with pain, healthy eating, anywhere from being in relationships to people with sickle cell, because that's a thing all of in its own. You know what I mean? Having somebody that has to know what you're going through and be able to deal with that, like that's a whole nother aspect of it.
And I gotta commend you because you always been cool. He's always been cool. He's always been joking. Very level headed, able to joke. And I remember watching Prodigy's interview. He's one of the most popular people who we know that have dealt with it. He said it kind of made him bitter at times, like in a way. I don't know if those were his exact words, but has it ever made you feel like resentful towards people or insecure?
I'd probably say more insecure than resentful. Well, there is some form of resent sometimes. You know what I mean? On those days where you feel like, I want to do this and I can't. them days where you sitting in the hospital and you sitting there by yourself and you reading that, your friends went out, everybody hanging out, everybody's chilling, doing what they gotta do, and you sitting in here with four walls, worried about a doctor. You know what I mean? Like those moments, you don't resent that person or those people, you resent the sickness itself. So, I get what he means when he say, it makes you feel better or it makes you feel resentment. We don't feel resentment towards people. We feel resentment towards sickle cell itself. Like, I hate it. You know what I mean? Like FML, you know what I'm saying? Like the way people get when they get depressed. Like that.
That's why I wanted to get into how it affects people mentally, because that's something that, like, I'm shaking my head, yes, but I don't know what it's like. I can only imagine, because when I get sick, I'm turning into a bitch.
Oh yeah,
like,
you don't want to be bothered. Leave me alone. And I can honestly say it's the same for everybody. Like pain is pain. You don't want to be bothered. Like just let me get better and leave me alone. That's it. Like that's what everybody feels when they're in pain. Like
So I have a question for you. I know that you said that the meditation has helped you heal a lot. What advice can you give to not only parents but to children and teens who are dealing with sickle cell? What can you advice you can give them? Books or maybe videos that they can watch that can help them further their knowledge about controlling their sickness or even coping with it? Is there anything, any advice you could, pass along that can help someone?
yeah, I mean, from I'd say if you don't know if your child has it or not, and they're showing signs and symptoms of it, which would be joint pain, shortness of breath, fatigue. It can be typical things, but if it seems like its pain is not going away after everything that you did, then maybe you should always test your children from birth. You know what I mean? That way you know what you're getting into and you can prepare yourself. Because if like I said, a lot of people have teenagers now who are just finding out that they have sickle cell. And you see that a lot on most of the Facebook pages where they're asking, my teen is feeling this way. What can I do for them to feel better? I feel helpless. You have parents feeling like that, but only thing you can do and what I can offer is first things first is just be there. Just be there.
I'm about to catch you off guard. Do you have any bars that you can spit a cappella right now? That it don't have to be related to this, but just to life in general.
Oh yeah.
If you got them, let them rock.
I mean, like off top or
No, I mean anything that you know.
Can I just get my phone or?
Go ahead.
That's something I was working on. I am here.
We're gonna document it.
Yo, we had 12 minutes. No, 17.
I think we're straight.
All right, so after this, we'll wrap it up.
I mean, this where I was working on a joint called Jersey City Jungle, and this is like you say from the hill to hill, and this is my story and tales of the hill.
Come on, give us some passion, bro.
Let's go. Let it rip.
I just read it out. I ain't gonna rap it heavy. You know what I mean? I said 201 is where I'm from, part of the Garden State where it's not fun. If you ain't got no weapon, you better cop one. If cats start to hate, then they'll pop one. All the sellers on the corner swear that they're boss. Everybody broke, but they still trying to floss. If you want to be a star, then his choices are out here. You either rap or trap or play ball. Balling didn't work for me. I was too skinny. Trapping didn't work because I couldn't make a penny. I said, switched up the rap because I felt that it was in me, and I did my first track. Noticed I was pretty witty. Now I'm on from a city and I'm sick with words. So every track that I hit, I'm gonna spit superb. When I'm done went from a chimp to a great ape. My bad. Let me read it. I said, because I felt like it was in me, and I did my first track. Noticed I was pretty witty. Now I'm on from my city and I'm sick with words. So every track that I hit, I'm a spit superb. I done went from a chimp to a freaking great ape to trouble. So every bar that I spit, I'm ready to rumble.
From the hill to hill.
It's Jersey City Jungle, man. 201.